Hello everyone, I'm Bailey Luzio. Today we're going to evaluate a current issue in today's society. As everyone knows, there is a constant debate within the topic of healthcare in America. Today we will discuss both sides of implementing Medicare for all. No matter what side of the argument you fall on, we can all agree on one thing: a change is necessary. Women and young adults under the age of 35 make up the highest percentage of uninsured Americans. Many reasons contribute to this factor, such as being an undocumented immigrant and declined employer offers, which are often declined because a majority of their paycheck would pay only for the insurance. In Lawrence Brown's article, he states, "The U.S. systems continue to fall short. For private workers and their dependents, employer-based coverage prevails, and the employer-based system, mainly for profit, insurers are dominant." The cost of the proposed Medicare for all would be between $3 to $4 trillion in new taxes. When you increase the demand for medical services, but not the supply of resources, you create long wait times and rationing of services and medications. Ultimately, you will pay for with your time, if not your money. In Canada, over 1 million Canadians are on a waiting list for treatments. In 2018, wait times for seeing your primary doctor to seeing a specialist was just under 20 weeks. This is almost half a year. Over 300,000 Canadians have left the country to seek treatment abroad. The average Canadian has paid over $13,000 in hidden taxes. In the United Kingdom, after 70 years, they have still not found a way to treat an unlimited stream of patients with their limited resources. In London, over 4 million Brits are still waiting for medical treatment. They have even begun suggesting group appointments for people with similar ailments. This would mean something along the lines of a group of 10 to 15 people meet together with one doctor who say all have diabetes. There are other obstacles in the way for a Medicare for All bill. As Michael Sparrow mentioned in his articles, the interest group for the opposition poses a huge political obstacle. It's hard to make a case against the fierce, wealthy, and influential people of America. As listed, the group of people includes along the lines of private insurance worried about bankruptcy, medical care providers worried of lower reimbursement, employers worried about higher taxes and lost control over employee benefits, and also unions worried about losing their generated dollars from the healthcare benefit program. In the current system, we are facing some huge problems. The U.S. has the most costly insurance. This often leads to delayed treatment. When patients with chronic illness don't have insurance, they end up in the ICU due to a long-term lack of treatment, which just creates more problems along the lines. With insurance costs always on the rise, even people with insurance are sometimes unable to afford treatment. This often leads to avoiding the diagnosis and treatment altogether. There is a poverty crisis in America that is a main contributing factor to the issues within our healthcare system. Within our ever-changing economy, more and more people are taking a freelancing approach to work. This means no employer-based insurance, which is one of the most common and practical ways to get insurance in America today. Lindsay Wiley wrote, "State-level single-payer healthcare would allow for better harmonization of healthcare and public health goals, giving state taxpayers and voters a greater control over both." This is something that I think both sides of the argument definitely would like to see. Even with all of that in mind, we have to also consider some of the downsides, like those I mentioned before, referencing Canada and the United Kingdom. Scott Greer mentions a political risk of privatization that is obvious with the private pay beds for English elite hospitals. This is meaning patients pay out of pocket for a nicer, faster version of the same procedure carried out by some of the same staff they might have elsewhere in the building for free. Many factors go unmentioned when the Medicare debate is brought up. One being the fact that implementing a government-run Medicare program would leave roughly 1 million people in the insurance field without a job. This, of course, does nothing but add to the poverty crisis in America. Another factor to think about is the fact that doctors would make 40% less than they do with private insurance. This potentially could lead to a shortage of doctors. The ones who do remain may lose a certain drive for innovation and excellence, which leads to more severe problems down the road. I just wanted to thank you all so much for tuning into my presentation today. As I mentioned, I hope you found it very informative and educational on both sides of the current debate topic of Medicare for all in America. Thank you very much.